welcome to Ring Talk episode 8. If you go 8,
I think it's 8.
You know these things better than I do. Season 2, with me, Martin Theobald, and Steve Goodwin. We're both feeling under the weather, so it's probably going to be a shorter one this evening. How are you, Steve, other than being under the weather?
All good. You're looking forward to Saturday, and yeah, so it's good. So touch wood, everything is going well, and we're making more signings, and we've got a bit of enthusiasm back now that we've finally been confirmed. It's 10 fights at your call, so we've got a bit more chance to try and make things financially viable. So that was good.
Yeah. So just touch on that quickly. The board have adjusted the rules then from 7 fights at York Hall through to 10.
But the dressing rooms are split at each end of the venue, where the old gym used to be at the top. That's going to be one set of dressing rooms, and the stage is going to be for the other set of people, and one lot of people are going to walk down from the entrance area, and the others are going to walk from the stage entrance. So the home and away are going to walk from different ends of the venue to the ring. There's going to be 2 ring entrances.
Okay, is that all COVID related still?
Apparently,
I don't understand it. Like, I'm not being rude about it. I just, for all intents and purposes, aren't we out of that area of COVID and everything? I go to a football stadium. I don't have to go in and out of different places depending on if I'm I don't get it. I don't get it, but we are at least up to 10 fights. I've just got to get on with it. We still got to do day before weigh-ins next month. That's been announced. So we've still got this stuff of COVID, and we've still got a COVID test everybody the day before. That's still applying. Yeah, I don't have an issue with that so much, although I could see more sense for it being on the day rather than the day before. But I
get that. I do actually get that if you've got somebody that's blatantly got COVID, you don't want them getting in the ring on the Saturday. So I think it'd be better on the day, but the fact it is day before, I get that. It does incur more costs on promoters of hotel rooms and things like that. But listen, it is what it is. We've just got to accept that's how it is.
Is it day before COVID testing and on the day COVID testing? Or
No, just day before.
So you can day before COVID test, go to a hotel, go out for dinner.
Yeah.
And then turn up at the venue and, on your way to the venue, take the tube.
Yeah.
And you don't get tested again. All right, cool. As long as I'm clarified. Anyway, right.
If that makes any sense to you, it doesn't make it to me, but we just got to comply with the rules. So
whatever. We'll move on. This week you've made some new signings at Goodwin Boxing.
Yeah, we've got 2 to announce now. We've got 3 to announce next week, at least. The market is changing out there. The people are seeing that certain promoters are cancelling shows left, right, and centre.
Or not putting shows on.
Or not putting them on. And boxers are losing fights because of that. We have done our best within the remit that we've got. We've managed to deliver 2 full 7-card fights. We've got, if you look at our cards, we've got November and December all full. Pretty much the whole shows are matched now. So every boxer has an opponent for November, December. So people know with us we are efficient and we do our job right. So we are. And all of a sudden, the momentum is coming back. I mean, we are turning lots away, but we are selecting. So the 2 that we can announce this week that have been announced, although we've got some other really good ones to announce next week. Joshua Ejik-Povey, former Southern Era title challenger. He's going to make his Goodwin bow in the November-December cards. And obviously, Joshua's got tremendous talent. He hasn't really, he's an underachiever at the moment, which is what I told him, and he agrees, but he's a very, very exciting talent. And Liam Wiseman, who's won about 11 amateur titles, has signed with us, thanks to him and his dad, Darren. And he's a really, really exciting prospect. And he'll be making his debut for a Goodwin bow in 2022 now. But I think he's an exceptional talent. So we are looking for the real talented kids. As you do know, we have been releasing certain boxers if they don't fit the criteria, which we have to do now. So we're looking not for quantity, we're looking for quality, and also the right attitude. But yeah, we are. I mean, I think we have, from memory, 5 or 6 new boxers have meetings within the next week. Not that we'll sign them all, but we've got 5 or 6 meetings. Plus, we already have 3 more signed that we've got to announce, which is great. So, no, it's going well, and we're there to look after the boxers, do the right thing, and not have all these shows being cancelled on them and things like that that are going on, because there's going to be a massive fallout with some of the things that are going on at the moment, and boxers are going to get disillusioned and walk away from the sport. It's just not good enough what's going on.
But it's an indicator from your end that things are starting to tick over, gather momentum. Things are kind of coming back to a normality. You've got a regular flow of shows. So what are the show dates for people?
Well, just it's not normality. It's hard to match now. Very hard to match. You have to be super smart and on the ball with matching, and you get let down by people pulling out or people getting stopped. It becomes difficult. But we've got obviously the 9th of October at York Hall, which is headlined by Liam Dillon against Dennis Wahome for the English super featherweight title. We've got the 16th of October down in Plymouth, headlined by Brad Pauls on his final bout before he goes on to Sky and Wasserman's, with a really good undercard with some super talented kids down in Plymouth. We've got the 20th of November at York Hall. We've got the 27th of November at York Hall, where Jack Hughes now at last gets to fight Ricky Little, hopefully, if he doesn't pull out again, for the Southern Area Super Flyweight title. That's the top of the bill there. And we've got the 4th of December at York Hall, where there's a really good card, but it will be headlined by Lewis Surrett making his voluntary defence of the Southern Area middleweight title. And during that time, Sean Robinson during this period is also coming back to the ring. He's looking for titles, so he's going to be boxing. Adrian Martin is making his comeback in the 6th round after his loss to Lewis Surrett. And there's some real stellar debut kids coming forward, which we'll talk about nearer to that time. Pat Gill, who I'm very excited about, son of Andy Gill. He's going to make his debut. Really exciting girl called Juliet Horwood's coming, making a debut. And there's plenty of others, and we will talk about that as time goes on. But obviously next week we'll do a full preview for the 9th show, and there's some great talent on the 9th. So we'll talk about that next week.
Did I mishear that, or did you say that Sean Robinson's fighting Adrian Martin?
No, he's not fighting Adrian Martin. They're both coming back with 6 rounders.
So I heard it as they're going to fight each other, and I thought,
No. Adrian's staying at middleweight. He wants to have a fight before he goes again, which makes sense. And Sean's been out a long time. He wants to just blow the cobwebs away before he slips in. But there's some really good title fights for these lads next year, and we've got lots of kids ready, really ready to push on to titles. William Webber's going to have one more, but we're hoping to get, to move him on after this next fight. So there's some real exciting times ahead. So we're really excited, and we're looking to build our stable with the right kit, lads. And with what's going on at the moment, I think there's going to be a hell of a lot more people coming our way or wanting to come our way, and we will obviously have the choice of them. But yeah, it's very, very exciting times.
Is the Lewis Surrett fight, is that against Conor Vienne?
No, it's Conor Vienne is Jamani Kamira. That's the wrong way. You got the wrong guy.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting completely mixed up.
No, the Conor Vienne and Conor Vienne, we did offer Conor Vienne to fight Jamani, because obviously none of them can fight for the Southern Area at the moment. We did offer them to fight for an English eliminator, but that hasn't been met with any positive response from Conor's team. So that's where we're sitting. But we would stage that if they did accept that as a possibility.
All right. Coming up this weekend at Wembley Arena.
There's only one fight that matters for me.
Only one fight that matters. Nothing to do with Eubank, nothing to do with David Avanesian, nothing to do with Richard Riakporte. It's Linus Udofia.
Yep, and he fights Julio Vannozzi in a 10-round contest at middleweight. We will cover the card, but Linus is 16-0. It's his time now to build on that and to shine. And I think we've got the right opponent. Julio Vannozzi is trained by Josh Burnham, who we know because we've got fighters in his camp. But they've got this, they think they're going to win, they've got this wrong. They've got this way wrong. They've misjudged this so badly. And you've got to know when, and they're going to learn that they really don't know what they've done this week. And they're going, Linus Udofia is going to school him. And I put my note, I won't get this far wrong. Julio's not a bad fighter, but they've got this match so wrong. They shouldn't have took this fight.
How is Linus ahead of the weekend?
He's moved down to his training. He's been living at his gym in a motel for nearly a month. He's living and breathing it. Oh God, yeah. You're going to get the best Linus Udofia Saturday. He's going to demonstrate his class and demonstrate levels. And it's going to be a very, very painful night for Julio Vannozzi. A very painful night. He's going to get scored.
You're very confident in this one, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, they've got this wrong. I mean, God knows why they've took it. God knows. But good luck to them for taking it. Thank you that they did. But they've got this wrong. And this is why, you're going to see, in my opinion, and listen, I always make statements that I'm prepared to suffer if I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. But you're going to see what smart management, smart matching, and what it's all about. And you're going to see why we're good at what we do, why we've got a great team with Wassermans around us, and why we pick the right fights.
Is there any news if he'll be on the broadcast side of it?
No, that's all being debated at the moment. It's very difficult because what you've got here is Eubank is the headline and Wassermans obviously are the promoters, the co-promoters of the show, and Linus is their other major fighter that's on the show. So obviously they're going to want Linus to get some exposure on TV, and obviously Sky will be wanting to push their own fighters, such as they'll want to probably push Jermaine Brown, Richard Riakporhe, and people like that. So if you put it, this is my opinion, I'm going to say this, if you want to put the most competitive fights live on TV, I don't think you put Linus on, because this isn't going to be, I don't think this is going to be that competitive. But I mean, there's some good fights here that, you know, if we go through the card, Eubank Jr., that's not a great fight. That's just going to be a blitz. Avanesian Liam Taylor gives us the chance to watch Avanesian. I think he's a quality fighter, and you'd always want to see Avanesian on telly, so that's going to be shown. I think a great trade fight is Jamal Ledoux, Jermaine Brown. I think that's a really, really good trade fight. Richard Riakporhe will blitz that Twardowski, but they're going to want to put that on TV because you see there's a big promotional push behind Riakporhe. Mikael Lawal, Stephen Ward.
That's probably the best fight on there.
I think so. I mean, Stephen Ward got blasted by Bolotniks, but I actually am of the opinion that although people think this is an easy fight for Mikael Lawal, I do not agree. I think that could go either way, that fight. Genuinely, I think that's a real 50-50 fight. I don't think that's any different. So I think of all the fights on the card, the Jamal Ledoux fight with Jermaine Brown, although I think Jermaine Brown's favourite, the Wild Ward is competitive. I don't think Linus against Vannozzi is competitive. Don't think it is. I think Linus is just going to be levels above. And then you've got Pigford against Ari. That's a nothing fight. So, I mean, there are 6 10-rounders. I can't see them showing 6 10-rounders on Sky. So my gut feeling is you won't see Linus on Sky. Maybe you'll get him on Facebook or YouTube or something like that. But we haven't had the running order yet. But it is what it is. Linus just wants to get out, box, show his class. And as Linus said, top of the bill, live on Sky, being a main event on Sky, he's coming down the tracks. This is just this Julio Vannozzi fight is just the first stop on the train track, and he's going a lot further down that train track.
Excellent. I mean, it's a really good card. I think
I like it.
Eubank, in and of himself, he's a standalone headliner, whoever he's fighting.
Yeah, I agree.
He's probably the second biggest name in British boxing.
I agree. I like watching Eubank, and listen, he's going to beat this kid, no problem. But I think you still want to watch Eubank. Avanesian Taylor, listen, Taylor's got his big opportunity. I like to watch Avanesian. I want to watch Ledoux against Jermaine Brown. I always like to watch Riakporhe. Llewellyn Ward is a great fight to watch. Of course, I want to watch Lioness. That's 6 fights I've been interested. It's been a long time since Sky put on a show like this. Forget the Eddie Hearn era. Eddie Hearn did not put 6 fights on like this.
Yeah.
For a long time.
I think it's a really reasonable, certainly for a first effort as well. I'm all right with that.
That's a really good card.
So people keep an eye on social media and such, like probably around Thursday, Friday, for running order and finding out where Linus sits within it, and whether he does or doesn't make it onto the broadcast aspect. Hopefully they get highlights if he doesn't make it onto the actual live televised part.
Exactly.
Cool.
Should we look back at last week?
That covers this forthcoming week. Let's look back at last week.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with Campbell Hatton, because that was a disgrace.
I mean,
put it simply, that was horrible. And I know Eddie's in an awkward situation, really, whereby he does come out and say, you know, I thought he was very lucky to win that fight. I mean, he can't really go any further than that. I appreciate that. Campbell Hatton himself kind of says, I reflected on it and I kind of feel like I deserve the win. How bad does it have to get before changes are made? That's always my question around it.
I mean, that has got to be one of the worst decisions I think I have ever seen. And I've seen some bad ones. Conor Benn against the Frenchman. Against Payno, the first one with Bob Williams refereed. That was shocking. The Lewis Ritson fight against the Mexican, I've forgotten his name for a second. That was
Vasquez.
I mean, you've got to be saying this isn't right. It's wrong for boxing, and it pisses you off with boxing. It makes you sick of the sport. Campbell Hatton got beat. He should lose. He should go back to the drawing board, fighting off TV cards, build up, learn his craft like the other kids do, and then come back when he's ready. This is wrong what they're doing. The kid's under pressure. He is just, unfortunately, he can't do any more than he does. He's fighting to this level of ability. He's got a great heart, but why on earth they're forcing him into this public spotlight when he hasn't yet got the skill set to do it? He may have down the line with a lot of work. But what they did, and then relying on dodgy decisions, the public aren't going to get behind him. He's not looked at with any respect. And that's not fair to the kid because he's trying his best.
I know people say, oh, it doesn't help him long. It does help him long term. I don't care what anyone says. It does help him long term because he keeps that undefeated record. They can keep spinning a narrative. They can keep putting him on big shows, and they will. And it's.
But if he keeps getting dodgy, really seriously dodgy, bent, whatever you call it, or favoured decisions, however you want to. He's going to carry on getting wins because not being funny, that kid wasn't that special and was last week. Where are you going to dig people up that you can keep beating?
He wasn't very special, and yet he was just playing with him, just toying with him. That was really bad. I felt for the and then they're talking about doing an immediate rematch. Why? Because if I'm that lad, I'm thinking I've won this one and I haven't won it. Why would I want a rematch? I don't know.
That kid would know he beats him. He'd beat him again. He just probably won't get the decision.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way. There's no way that, you know, when you reference that Ben Payno fight, at least Ben came back into that fight after he'd been knocked down. It was an absolute firefight down at York Hall. But at least he showed something in there that said, in a rematch, this could be different. There was nothing in that fight. It's nothing against Campbell Hatton. I don't need to see him on the undercard, third fight down from the main event on a pay-per-view. It's not right. It's not right at all. Not to do it like that. Callum Smith, a hell of a knockout, but does it matter?
What has he shown that he hasn't shown before? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but hell of a knockout regardless.
Oh, it really was. It really was. I thought Florian showed improvements against Prodan.
Yeah, so you had that last week as one that potentially could. The odds were wrong in that the percentage chance of Prodan winning was incorrect.
And I still watched that. I mean, Florian didn't win like a 5-on chance, or 7-on chance. He didn't win like a 7-on chance. So what I said was right in that the odds were wrong, but Florian was a 2-3 to 1 on chance. He's the most likely winner. Once again, I think he showed improvement, but he's still showing plenty of flaws.
Yeah.
And again, as I said last week also, the style of Prodan suits Florian because he's that type. But it's the move, it's the guys that will move that have got good head movement that will trouble him. And I think
the Congos, well, I can come up with plenty of welterweights to be honest, but those two domestically stand out as the two that would cause him a bit of an issue.
I think, listen, I like Florian, and I was happy to see him win.
A Coley, pointless fight. I don't blame him. It was a mandatory from the WBO. The WBO need to. And they were saying that bloke he was fighting, Pradov, was it Prazov?
Prazovic.
He's only ever fought in like Macedonian hotels or something.
Yeah.
What's he doing? Like just going around weddings and like beating up best men or something like that? I don't get it.
That's pretty much it. I mean, he's.
How's he ended up as a WBO mandatory?
His last fight was against a 7-29 kid, Tomislav Rudan. Remember Rudan? He's been over to the He's fought all our cruiserweights, and our cruiserweights beat him. And that was his last. So before he fights Cody for the world title, his prep fight was Tomislav Rudan.
I'd fancy Mark Little to beat Tomislav Rudan. I'd fancy. And that's just the first one that comes to my head of your your cruiserweights. Daniel Mendez, he'd beat him.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'll tell you what, Tomislav Rudan, just getting it right for you, has been beaten by Tony Conquest, Cole Wheeler, Jose Lopez. He did not win a round against Cole Wheeler or Jose Lopez. He lost. He was stopped in 2 rounds by Mikel Lawal. He lost every round to Spiros Dimitriou. Mark Little beat him.
There you go.
Beat him. Dion Juma stopped him in 3. Mikel Lawal stopped him in 2. And he's the prep fight before fighting.
And that's the road. That's the road to a Coley.
That's the road to a Coley.
What a mess. The WBO, I don't have time to go into my disdain for that. But yeah, on the plus side, it gets a mandatory out of the way and it gives him 12 months of hopefully freedom to go and do some decent fights.
Exactly.
Presumably by December, because it's not like he needs any time out after that.
Exactly that. Listen, the Coley's improving. He's got a brilliant trainer. Shane McGuigan, as a trainer, I think is one of the best, if not the best trainer in the country. I don't know anybody. I think Shane McGuigan is a phenomenal trainer. I see Ellie Scotney's gone to them this week. But I think Shane McGuigan is a brilliant trainer.
Yeah, I like that Ellie's gone there.
Yeah, so good luck to them. And then we had the main event. And I know you were scoring it for pitch boxing, so let's have your view on the main event.
Yeah, I had 8 rounds to 4, and even the 8-4 was being semi-conscious of the fact that Joshua was probably going to get the home advantage when it was a little bit close. So in reality, probably a 9-3 fight. But, I mean, they came close to trying to rob him, didn't they? It was the 115-113 card that... How on earth you could justify that? I don't know.
That was Howard Foster, the British judge.
I was a shock. But yeah, I just thought Usyk, everything, and I don't mean just in that 36 minutes of boxing, I mean in the week building up to that fight, everything he did was correct. And it felt like everything Joshua did was a bit weird. So when you see them taking selfies in like changing rooms and all the talk beforehand was about rematch clauses from Joshua's side. Why are you focusing on that? Surely you would be focusing upon, we beat Usyk, we move past him, we go on and we do the undisputed. There just seemed an awful lot of doubt and an awful lot of consideration for what if we lost. Whereas Usyk was, cordial, but all business.
Listen, do you not agree with Joshua doesn't win that rematch?
I don't see how he could.
What can he do to turn that around? I don't think so.
The only two arguments you can make is, one, maybe he's learned more about him in those 12 rounds and now he can take that and apply something to a rematch. And two, the pictures of him with the strapping on his arm and the potential injury to his right arm might have hampered him for this one. So, they prepare him for the second one. But ultimately, I just think Usyk's a better fighter. Nothing wrong with that. I just think Usyk's a better boxer, and there isn't enough of a size disparity, a weight disparity for Joshua to be able to impose himself better upon him. I think Fury could. I think Fury could use his size and his weight and his skill to beat Usyk. Not that he's 100% gonna if they ever fought, but I think he would have a far better chance than Joshua would. I don't see how Joshua does it. And I think it makes
show you before that. Doesn't it show you, though, again, another fight where they all get greedy between them all and they don't do the fight they should have done? This happens in the history of boxing, arguing, greed, and then they all miss out on the fight that everybody wanted to see. Because that's never going to have, even if they try and do it, it's not going to be the same anymore.
No, you've knocked a zero off the end already.
Yeah.
And I actually think, I was having this conversation yesterday with a couple of people, and I genuinely think there's no point in Joshua taking that fight. Not next. I think he needs to go away and fight Dillian White in his next fight. And I think he needs that to get his rawness back and his that animal instinct about him, to fight someone you genuinely don't have a lot of time or love or affection for, because he's always so friendly, isn't he? Like, he's friendly towards Usyk. He was friendly towards Ruiz. He needs to go away and get that raw emotion and pile that into his fighting and use that to go out and, if he is gun shy, get rid of it just for emotion, if nothing else.
Yeah, I agree.
And were he to beat White, then go on and hopefully you've rekindled some of that raw aggression.
Do you think he's a certainty to beat Dillian White?
No. No, not at all. I mean, there's so many question marks now, isn't there? When you see the way in which he boxed, I mean, I would fear for him if White spotted an opportunity to, stand in front of him and just unload, because Joshua doesn't seem to have that confidence about him that he can either trade or escape.
No, I mean, that at the end where he laid on the ropes and he went back to the corner, it was very odd, wasn't it?
It was Bruno, wasn't it? It was. That's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you reckon if they have a rematch?
Usyk. He's not going to beat him, is he? There's nothing there. He doesn't beat Usyk in a rematch. I don't know what they do with him now, with Joshua, but I don't know what they do. But I mean, you've got to remember that's Eddie Hearn's golden nugget, that, because he's been really, you've got to look at this logically. While other people have been signing other fighters, he's not been building his UK stable. Warren's been signing absolutely everybody and anybody to try and build a stable up. Sky are going in the background, starting to build up their stable. He's not really got a very strong UK stable now.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you need him as the pillar.
Yeah.
And I would worry that if he took the Usyk fight and lost again, would he fight again? I don't know. It'd be interesting.
No, that would be him done, wouldn't it? Be him done.
I would have thought it was like you kind of met your match at that point. And I guess his ambition is always to be the elite, the very best, undisputed, etc., etc. He's got all the money. He's got generational money that can be passed down. If you're not going to achieve that goal and there's somebody who is your Achilles heel, Why would you bother continuing? Like, just go and live life.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're talking about it being early next year, January, February in Saudi Arabia. I saw today.
How is it?
But why is he back in the gym already? Just go and take some time away, be with your family, like recuperate, get some life back into you.
It's all a bit odd. It's all a bit odd.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I'm not sure I understand it all.
Neither me. But listen, it was what it was. The card was weak, but the Joshua fight was good to watch. Good fight to watch. So it wasn't. Again, sometimes with a card like that, it's the main event you're going to watch. I think this Saturday at Sky is a much better card overall.
Yeah, it's more balanced, isn't it? I mean, I don't have an issue with a weak Joshua undercard, really. I'm not particularly tuning in for it.
No, I agree. It makes sense.
But yeah, this weekend, the main event is possibly going to be on YouTube or Facebook, but we'll find out nearer the date of Linus. But yeah.
And we look forward, don't forget 9th of October, that cracker, Liam Dillon, Dennis Mahomes, an absolute cracker at York Hall. It's a traditional York Hall barnstormer. Liam Dillon has sold really well. There's going to be a lot of Liam Dillon fans there, and it's going to be an exciting night.
I get the impression Liam might be a little bit annoyed as well about the delay to it all.
Annoyed, I think pissed. He's pissed with the whole stable that he's fighting. Kamari pulling out of the rematch and not wanting to have a part of him. Liam Wahomey pulling out of the first fight pre-COVID, then going again. And no, he's pissed.
I think it'll be a feisty one.
He's fired up. Liam Dillon is fired up.
I like it. It'll be a feisty one.
Yeah.
Right, we will cover that next weekend on a preview, and we'll come back and talk about Linus's exciting, emphatic display on Saturday night down at Wembley Arena. But yeah, look forward to it. We'll catch you then.
Cheers, Martin.
Now I'm going to go and take some Lemsip and lay in my bed.
Hope you feel better. Take care, matey.
Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye.